Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the altcoin show, coming at you daily, 6 days a week here. And I'm so excited to be with you today, wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. I want to welcome you to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about why are alts not pumping. Why are my alts not pumping? Why they're not? They should be pumping. Bitcoin pumped to 73K. Why did my alts not pump? We're going to answer that question today. We're going to look at some news articles. We're going to look at some charts there as well. And of course, before we do that, we're going to, you know what we're going to do? We're going to smash the like, because if you're a regular watcher, you know I was going to say that. Smash the like. This helps get this content out to more people and does help support the channel. Of course, all those comments that you guys leave, amazing. I appreciate and I read every single one of those, and I do respond to each and every one of those. Thank you for taking the time to do that, as well as all the questions there in the comments as well. I do look to get back to those as soon as I am able to. And then, of course, we have the cheat sheet, my roadmap to crypto success, that is linked below this video in the description. The Stocks with Josh Discord sign up is linked in the description of this video as well, just under the cheat sheet. All right, well, let's jump into some news here. And why are alts not pumping? Well, if you've seen my winners alt season video, which was a day or so ago, a couple of days ago, please check that out. I go in and I tell you where I think altcoin season is going to be, and that was just a couple of days ago. But of course, it's not pumping because Bitcoin 72, it actually got to 73. The answer is simple: Bitcoin dominance. Right now, Bitcoin dominance is around 60% that we can see here. And so we're going to need that to break down. And when we start to see that breakdown, obviously, as long as Bitcoin price isn't tanking and Bitcoin dominance goes down, we need Bitcoin. Generally, Bitcoin creates a new all-time high, and then it stabilizes. Bitcoin dominance begins to fall, and we see alts begin to move, alts begin to pump there. So that is why altcoins are not pumping. The second reason, because there's two reasons that alts are not pumping. It's not alt season yet. Bitcoin dominance is too high. And the second reason altcoins are not pumping is because you're in the wrong altcoins. It's that simple. You look at the top 10, almost every single popular coin from 2017 is now irrelevant. This chart shows how long altcoins have maintained their top 10 status. Lesson: the space moves fast, remain adaptive, don't marry your bags. Prioritize the new and shiny trends, as they will likely outperform. And you can see some of these ones here just have not really done anything. The only ones that really have remained in the top 10 the entire time is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, which I think that could change. I think this could change at some point. Maybe, maybe not. We will see. And obviously USDT, which is the stable coin. It stayed stable in the top 10. I don't think that should have been included there, but anyway, there you have it there. And certainly I have given, you're in the wrong altcoins. And even I've tried to help people get in the right altcoins, showing which altcoins I've gotten out of and which coins I've gotten into. And this can be found on my cheat sheet. And you can see it here. I have an exit. I have an exit column here, and I even shaded in yellow that some of these exits got hit. Like, for example, Matic, the exit got hit at 50 cents. Well, let's look at the price of Matic now. The price of Matic is now 31 cents. So if you'd followed my cheat sheet and gotten out at 50 cents, actually it went all the way up to 59 cents, you could have gotten out of this trade without experiencing more loss there, okay? So this cheat sheet certainly has helped people get out. Arbitrum at 82 cents. What is Arbitrum right now? This was a coin that I gave on the cheat sheet if people wanted to get, because people were asking what are the prices to get out of here. And certainly now it's all the way down, and it did go as low as 49 cents. It's now at 52 cents. So therefore I had the exits there on the cheat sheet. I also have the coins to get into listed on the HODL section over here, as you can see, the coins that and the exits, and there's a bunch of other stuff here. So certainly that has been the case. But look, I was talking about XRP. I was reading this morning, and I was so glad that I got out of XRP when I did. There, my wife and I invested 200. This is not me, obviously, but they invested 200K into Bitcoin at average price of 8,000. But in the 2018 bear market, they sold all of the Bitcoin at $6,000 and put it into XRP at 52 cents. Fast forward 6 years, and our total investment would be worth 1.7 million, but instead we are stuck with an XRP bag which has gained less than 4% in 6 years, and our overall investment is a 23% loss. I blame the YouTube shills, and my stupidity sucks. And I could not agree more with that. Certainly, I have shared very publicly here on this channel numerous times why I sold my XRP bag. I sold it all at about 65 cents or whatever, and I don't even know what the price is right now. I don't even follow this, but I sold it all at about 65 cents and put it into Sui, into Tau. There you go. I could actually buy it back lower, and I put it into Sui and Tau and BLOB and other tokens that have since done 400, 500, and 1,000%. That has been the absolute best decision that I have made there, certainly with XRP, but certainly I can't see how this can remain a top 10 coin continue unless it has some kind of epic bull run here. Maybe a 3 to 5x could save it, but certainly there, I think people are waking up and realizing that why are they stuck in an asset that just has gone nowhere in the last 6 years, okay? Just crazy. You could have had your money in Bitcoin. Even just this cycle, you would have made more money being in Bitcoin than in the XRP. In fact, you would have made more money in Bitcoin than in most altcoins. I think only about 40 or 50 altcoins have actually outperformed Bitcoin in this bull run. Okay, so we're going to jump into some altcoins here. We're going to jump into the charts here for you. And so the first one we're going to look at here is Banana Gun. And so Banana Gun here has come back to the tribal trades trend line at the 0 line on the, at the 50% line on the Fibonacci there. Certainly, you can see that this line has been pretty good. And so this would be a buy right now for me. You could jump into this trade. Certainly, it could come down and get the 50-day moving average. Remember what we talked about on the golden cross, how to trade the golden cross like a boss? If you haven't seen that video from yesterday, check that out. But certainly, after there is a golden cross, generally an asset does come back and retest the 50-day moving average. So I wouldn't be stopping out here. If there's an entry here, you could well come down and test this at around 48 or 49, or this 50-day moving average could come up to here. But certainly if we do lose the 50-day moving average, we break below it, retest it as resistance and reject, that could be a place to get out of the trade, and you could re-enter possibly down here at 44 or even as low as 43. We could get back to these levels here, but certainly this area here could be quite a nice little zone to enter. And obviously for HODL would be a just-in-case bag really at this point, would be a dollar cost every average entry here. I wouldn't go in hard at this level. Certainly I would pick up a little bit more here, and then if we were to drop further, we got the tribal trades trend line at 47 and then down to 44 and 43. We do have the Fibonacci, the 382 at 46 as well. So you could actually be like a bit of a manual trading bot and just pick up a bunch of trades in here for Banana Gun. Now, if we look at BLOB, BLOB here, certainly, again, we've come back to the bottom, and this is why we have these lines. We're trading the bottom of this range right now, and there's the middle of the bottom of this range here, and we could certainly come up, trade it, sell, get back in, sell, and now this is a place to re-enter the trade. Certainly, where would we get out of the trade? A break below this trend line, a retest and rejection, and then what I'll do is I'll go to the 15-minute time frame, and so I would want to see a breakdown below and a rejection. Something like this, how it's done on this line here. You've come down below this 200 EMA on the 15. It's broken down and then got back up and rejected. And so that's something similar that I would be looking for to get out of this trade here, is a breakdown below, a retest here, a rejection, and then you get out of the trade, okay? Very simply there on how to stop out on the BLOB trade, and we're going to and certainly there, obviously, if we get up to here, this would be TP2, TP3, and so on the way up. And as far as taking profits, there's a few different ways to do it. And I'm not going to go in depth on here just for the sake of time today, because I have shared it on other videos. But I do tend to take all the profits that are available off the table on the trade. So if I put 1,000 on here and now it's worth 2,000 here, I will take the full $1,000 on the profit, but I won't necessarily close the trade unless we get a rejection here. Unless we break down below here, we get a rejection, and then I can get out of the rest of the trade there, or I can just wait and come down and reaccumulate it all back a lot lower. There's a few different options there with BLOB. Now with BONK, this was a trade setup that we had at the 50-day moving average, and we broke below it there. You can see there at the trade was at 27. Well, the time to get out of the trade and stop out of the trade was when we got a rejection there. And then you just go to the shorter time frames and see we got a breakdown, we had a rejection candle. So you pretty much can get out where you entered it right here. And if we go down to the 2 hour, you can see that breaks down, we have a rejection candle. You can even go down to the 1 hour. So we break down, and there it is right there on the hour. Sometimes you don't even have to go to the 15 minutes. It breaks down, and then it comes up and rejects. And at that point on the rejection, that's when you can get out of the trade pretty much where you entered it right there. Now, of course, if you're sleeping, that can be a little bit tough, right? Because you can't be just watching the trades 24/7. And in that case, you just want to set a stop loss that you feel is going to be one that is not going to leave you with too much loss. It could be under this candle here, which was set at a low at 4 zeros and 2 0. So you would put it at 4 zeros, 198 or something like that. And then once you lost that level, that would have been a good time to get out of the trade. You could even get out manually, because that level there, you can see we had a rejection candle there, and it gave you another opportunity to get out of that trade. So it's just an easy way to get out of the trade. The entry yesterday was 4 zeros and a 20 and a 7, and the exit was the same place. You could exit that trade exactly the same place at 4 zeros, a 20 and a 7. What am I looking now for BONK? Obviously, I'm looking for this to come back up, and the entry and the exit can be the same place. You can enter the trade here, but the difference is at 4 zeros, 20 and 7, currently the 50-day moving average, is you get a break and a successful retest, and then you enter the trade there, and then you're off to the races, and you get out of the trade by a breakdown below a successful rejection of this level here, like we saw here, and then you get out of the trade. Now, to see those, I go down to the 1 hour and the 15-minute time frame there, and you can see it even more clearly here on the 15-minute time frame. We broke down, don't get out of the trade there. I get out of the trade here on a successful rejection of that level, and then you can just see it continues to go down there for BONK. So that's what I'm looking for BONK. Then we're going to look at here is the next altcoin that we're going to look at here. And this was a very similar case. The entry and the exit were the same place. And I was actually in the Discord just sharing some of this with some of the folks in there. But you can see here the entry was the 50-day moving average, okay? But the exit also was there. We had a breakdown. We had a retest and a rejection of the 50-day moving average, which is sitting at about 25.20. You can even go down to the 2 hour. Let's go down to the 1 hour here, and you can see it even more clearly here on the 1 hour. We saw it break down. Initially, it broke through, and then we had the rejection candle. And actually, there's another rejection candle here, which allowed you to get out of the trade right there. You can see this candle right here. And you could even probably break it down to the 15-minute time frame and see the rejection candle. There you have the 50-day moving average. I've even put a line there so you can see it. So when do you get out of the trade? Well, you come down here and you come back up, no rejection candle. You drop down, no rejection candle. Here we come back down, and there is a rejection candle right here. So that's where you would be getting out of the trade, but you got another chance to get out of the trade on Ethereum right here. So that you can see that we come back up, we retest and reject again. That's the second time to get out of the trade. There's a rejection candle right here as well. There are no rejection candles here, so you would have stayed in the trade there. So that's how the Ethereum stop loss would have worked. What are we looking at now? Exactly the same as what we were looking at for bonk, we're looking for a break above the 50-day moving average, sitting at about 25.20 right now, a successful retest, then we would get in the trade for Ethereum. The next one we're going to look at is HNT here. And remember what I said, this is what if you were in this trade, by the way, when you look, there's a clear rejection, and that's what you can get actually out of the HNT position. And so you could have just gotten totally out of it. On the daily time frame, sometimes you get those rejections. Sometimes you don't have to go to the hourly or the 15-minute, but the entry now is coming up at $6.03. Obviously, we just don't enter when it hits it because it could just melt straight through it and go down to the 200 simple moving average at $5.40, and it could do that. What I'm looking for here is a entry where we have a successful hold and retest, and I'll usually then jump down to the smaller time frames to check that out. But if we break down below this and then retest, that's when I would get out of the trade, because sometimes you can get an initial successful retest, and then you think you're off, and then it plummets down, and then you're like, oh gosh, how do I get out of this trade? On the retest and rejection of the 200 EMA, and then you would look at this $5.40 level that would come in there for HNT. Render is the next one we'll look at, and certainly we are in that situation with Render that if you bought here, this is a good buy. We're at the bottom. There is support. There is the tribal trades trend line. The tribal trades trend line. Remember, this is not financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? So even though below the 50-day moving average there, which would be the more safer entry here, a break and a retest, or even here, you're going to get more opportunities to get into Render if you miss it here. This is certainly more risky, because if you lose this and you break down and then you go and you retest and rejection, that's the place to get out of Render there. And certainly and if we were to go down here, this would be the place to get back in on a successful break, retest, hold, and then, then you've got these other levels there up there for Render. Then we're going to look at Say. Same thing. We saw a breakdown, a retest and rejection. That was the place to get out of the trade for Say. Now, obviously, we're going to wait. We could certainly get back in on this tribal trades trend line there at about 36, 37 there. That could be an opportunity. Again, get out of the trade if you see a break, a rejection there, out. And obviously here, if you continue to see rejection, but if you see a break above and a retest, successful retest, that's when you get in on the trade for Say at those levels there. And then we're going to look at SUI. SUI does have a fair value gap between 178 around this level here, fair value gap, and it's already gone into the fair value gap and 197. So we're already, now it doesn't need to completely fill the fair value gap, but if it does, look at what it's going to do. It's going to retest the 50-day moving average, which is sitting at about $1.78, $1.80. This is a possible area that it could come down to here. Certainly, if it does come down, and we got the Fibonacci, the 0.236 on the Fibonacci, if it comes down to there, if we lose this level and then we reject a retest and rejection at about $1.80, that could lead us to come all the way back to $1.61 there. But certainly keep an eye on for that. But if we hold that and we have a successful retest, there could be an entry there for some bids around that $1.80, $1.78, $1.80 level there for SUI. And we're going to finish up with Tau today. And certainly the same thing here, as you can see, this could, as we come down, we're coming down now to the tribal trades trend line at 470. We're going to see if this is going to be, if there's any kind of rejection here on here. Certainly we saw the rejection on the 50-day moving average. We can even go down to the 1 hour time frame, and you can see the place to get out of the trade for Tau. If you were swing trading, was here. We have the rejection. It rejects here. You get out of the trade at about 509, and then boom, it has come down. And then from here, we haven't yet, well, have we on the 15-minute time frame had a rejection candle? We actually have. So here is where you would have got out. If you got in here for Tau and you jumped in the trade at 473 at the tribal trades trend line, you could have gotten out. You break down, you retest, there's a rejection there. There you get out of the trade. And there, obviously, it came down all the way down to 447 there. Now we're going to come back up. Are we going to reject again? Certainly, if we break through this line and we have a retest, that's when you would get back in the trade there for Potenza Tau. All right, well, I hope you all had a great day today. And as always, until the next episode, which is going to be tomorrow, Saturday, happy trading.